Is a Irish air to a famous Ashling song in Irish that translates as "For Ireland I'll not tell her name." And I'll follow that up with a hornpipe that's called "The Stack of Wheat."
Very good. Good show. Good start there. Thank you. This is the Stone Soup session, which is a broad, generic, anything goes folk session. If you can play it, it's folk. That's the general theory here. So I'll sing it.
Yeah, my definition is if it's easy enough that folks like me can play it, then it's folk music.
Exactly right. Very good. Okay, let's move on to Terry. And everyone, mute yourself if you're not playing. I think we go that way. And I always have the power to quash if I need to, but
You use it judiciously. Okay, so I thought we'd start with an old favorite. This is The Rivers of Texas. And I have never been able to figure out the origins of this song. It goes back at least to the 19th century, but authors unattributed. It doesn't really sound traditional to me. It sounds more like, you know, something somebody wrote. And we've got Rick Not Santa joining us. I think that must be. Yes, indeed, there he is. Did you trim? Did you trim your beard? Yes. Does it fit under the mask? That's where mine went.
he trimmed his sails and his beard, evidently. So
Okay. The broad Pecos, we forded the Nueces, swung the Guadalupe, we followed the Brazos, Red River runs rusty, the Wichita clear, down by the Brazos I courted my dear, singing lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river, the water's the land. The sweet Angelina runs glossy and gliding, crooked Colorado runs weaving and winding. The slow San Antonio courses the plain, but I never shall walk by the Brazos again, singing lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land. The girls on the Little River, they're plump and they're pretty, Sabine and Sulphur, Albany and Beauty, and down by the Natchez there's girls by the score, but I never will walk by the Brazos no more. And it's lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand, lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. It's many the river that waters the land. She hugged me and kissed me and called me her dandy. Trinity's muddy, the Brazos quicksandy. I hugged her and kissed her and called her my dear, but Dad called her my own. But down by the Brazos she left me all alone, singing lie, lie, lee, lee, roll the boat on, lie, lie, lee, lee, pull the boat on, lie, lie, lee, lee, pull the boat on. My Brazos little darling has left me alone.
What a ditty. What a ditty. Hey,
Thank you, Terry,
You're welcome.
Brazos.
for that geography lesson on the riparian structure of the Lone Star State. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to teach it somehow. Song's a good way. Tom,
Yeah,
you're up
baby. Here we go.
next.
All righty. Okay, here we go. Austin, you know it's cool and windy. We got space cadets and space cowboys like Elon Musk Tesla in Del Valle. But space itself is cold and dark. We try to fill it up. Start with Eratosthenes, add Claudius Ptolemy, then Persian and Zolfi. Then we can see the Andromeda Galaxy. Here comes Copernicus and the HEB scene. Earth around the sun, no Ptolemy. Leap Tycho Brahe to Johannes Kepler. Ellipses over circular orbits. All these planarities, wanderers, including Galileo Galilei, look up. Sir Isaac Newton was an alchemist. Edmund Halley, Charles Messier, he of 13 comets, Andromeda Galaxy, nebulae. After them, William Herschel, Henrietta Swan Leavitt, Albert Einstein, Edwin Hubble, Harlow Shapley, Frank Drake of SETI fame, Giovanni Cassini, Christian Huygens, Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking. We can see them all now clearly via our Hubble telescope and now the Webb. Cameras on Mars, luminaries and many other poet, philosophers and folk singers posited canals on Mars, huts on our Chinese moon, Wallace and Gromit on blue cheese diet, and every night we all soak in the full moon glow of tomorrow night, writing love poems to Selene, Diana, Artemis, Bendis, Bulan, Sadhana, stars, planets, sun, moon over Austin, ignoring our space junk. Will they always be cold and dark as winter love? That's it, baby. You can come back now. He's over.
Yeah.
Hey.
So we've had geography through song and cosmology through poetry. Where are we gonna go next? I ask. Oh, Rory. Thank you. Rory, you're up, man.
All right. So I'm going to sing a song that was written by a guy called Irving Burgess, sometimes known as Irving Bougie, and sometimes as Lord Burgess. He's Jamaican, and he was one hell of a songwriter. And we're all old enough here to remember Harry Belafonte's first album, the one with the red cover. He wrote all the songs on that album. If he didn't write nearly all of them, it was on all of them. So that's the talent the man had. And this was not on that song, but I've always loved it. I came to it through the old Kingston Trio, which most of you will remember as well. It's only been a year or so, but it seems so long ago. I packed up my bags and left my home. Been from Fresno to Maine, even worked in Port of Spain. I ain't ever had a bed to call my own. I have gambled and lost. I've been cussed by my boss, and some city girl just took me for a ride, and Buddy cleaned out my kit, sold my guitar for a hit. I can't seem to tell no truth from no lie. Round this time of day, I gets to feeling low, and I wonder who's my baby's latest beau. Everybody that I see is a stranger to me. I never knew that things could get this bad. Hope someday I'll get back to my little old old country shack and settle down with my baby by my side. Around this time of day, I gets to feeling low, and I wonder who's my baby's latest beau. Someday soon you hear, pal, gonna give up my fare, and maybe I'll have to ride the rails. And if that morning train is right, I'll be home before that night. And I hope no one will have to go my bail. Round this time of day, I gets to feeling low, and I wonder who's my baby's latest beau.
Very good.
High five.
By the way,
Bo becomes whoa. I like that. I like that writing. Excellent.
I have learned a new Zoom trick, and there's a setting that says follow host's order of the little video pictures on your screen. So I can put people in order and they'll stay that way and you won't know who's next. So it's David and me and Rory, and who's next, Joe?
Well, no, here's the deal. Mary Jane was in first, but she went out.
Oh,
So you're
well, let's put Mary Jane after Rory.
There we go. There we go.
Then Joe Becky.
Yeah, and Joe, Tom came after you, Terry.
Okay, well, I'll put Tom after Mary Jane as that. Oh no, Tom's already been. So okay, there's Tom between me and Rory, and then Mary Jane, and then Joe, and then Rick, who is making fun of us. Okay, so he gets to be last.
No, I am last.
You are last. Okay, let me move you around.
I got a piece of here's my technology, Terry. See,
and
I got a pen goes with it. So
you can spoil my fun.
Okay.
How's that? So at this point, everyone should see the order of people that are.
Is it a ballpoint pen or a dip pen?
It's a ballpoint pen. A ballpoint pen, please. It's not a quill. No. All right. Thank you for that.
Well, Rick can always reach up and grab a quill from those birds passing overhead, and it's very handy.
Thank you for the assistive technology there, Terry, and we will move on to Mary Jane. It's all yours. So mute yourselves, except includes me. Yep. Up.
Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, I'm gonna sing a song called Caledonia by Dougie McLean. It was written in 1983, and I consider it a Scottish song because Dougie was Scottish, although I think he wrote this when he was living in Australia. So that's my history of the song. But Caledonia is supposedly a word that refers to kind of the old Celtic culture of the British Isles, not just Scotland, but other areas. And I don't know what its boundaries were, but when he's talking about his old country, though, when he sings the song. I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days I've been afraid that I might drift away. I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. I have moved and I've kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. I have kissed the fair lads and left them sighing, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've traveled hard, sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir, the flames that couldn't get any higher, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow when the hands have shaken, the kisses flowed, and I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had.
If I could just sort of jump in, I don't know whether this is allowed, but just on the Caledonia thing. Caledonia is Scotland. It's nowhere else.
Yep.
It's the north. It's the area that was not controlled by the Romans. So roughly Scotland today. It doesn't include Ireland, that's for sure. Although Celtic culture is there. And the second thing I wanted to tell you about was Dougie MacLean, when in his younger days. You'll appreciate this. When Earl Scruggs went over on a tour, he was his roadie.
Well,
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. That's useful information.
I think that's the finest Scottish name going between MacLean and Menzies and Dougie in the front there. So there you go. Although Rory Sinclair's not bad either. So there you go.
Rory Sinclair is a very Scottish name. In fact,
Absolutely.
I'm a piper, and you're going to hear me in a minute.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Great. Something to look forward to. Indeed. Okay. It is Joe, Becky, So everyone mute, and Joe, take it away.
All right, I'm going to sing a song I recently learned from Shea Black. It's called the Wallflower Waltz, and this is written by Sharon Dimmick. She's a folk singer in the Berkeley area. Nodding my head, tapping my toe, all down a spot on Wallflower Row. I learned to walk a long time ago. Teach me to waltz. Sometimes I'm shy, sometimes I'm slow. I fall out of step, I step on your toe. I'm wanting to waltz more than you know. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to walk on air. You know I'm halfway there. Dance with me if you dare. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to waltz real slow. Teach me to just let go. Teach me the things you know. Teach me to waltz. When I am gray and 82, regretting the things I never did do, I'll be able to say I went dancing with you. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to walk on air. You know I'm halfway there. Dance with me if you dare. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to waltz real slow. Teach me to just let go. Teach me the things you know. Teach me to waltz. Put down your fiddle, put down your bow. I am still here on Wallflower Row. We'll make it sweet and we'll make it slow. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to walk on air. You know I'm halfway there. Dance with me if you dare. Teach me to waltz. Teach me to waltz real slow. Teach me to just let go. Teach me the things you know. Teach me to waltz.
That was quite charming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. It's always good to sing about a waltz song in 3/4 time. I always think
Yeah.
that brings some authenticity to it.
That's the best way. I've heard some in 4/4, which is really kind of silly.
Waltzing Matilda works, but that's another whole story.
That's right. Exactly so.
You got to march to something. Come on now. All right. Thank you. That was great.
Your own drummer, presumably.
And before this gets out of hand, Rick, take it away.
Well, certainly. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, I bring here today something from the far north. It's from a very interesting friend, Annie Benjamin. She wrote this poem called Breath. Here, the first of many days in this new reality. How do I take my first breaths? Do I stand beneath Orion's starry minions, inhaling the icy air of cold beginnings and dark nights in a time of uncertainty and fear? Should I whirl and dance with extended arms akimbo and emulate barren trees this night, naked and beautiful as they become one with the uncontrollable forces of wind and inevitability? If I sit still with open eyes, listening to the sounds of the heartbeat cadence, can I become a rhythm of peace, love, of ultimate acceptance? Here, the first of many days in this new reality, how do I take my first breath?
In these COVID times, breathing is a good thing. So
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, well, physiology, I thought I'd bring physiology into it.
yeah, we've had geography and cosmology, so physiology. We're going to cover
Plus Orion. You got to remember Orion was in there too.
That's true. It's a good mix. Well, we got another 2.5 hours, so there's room for other disciplines. So, all right, it is now my turn, I believe. So I will take it away. This is one I play with a little folk trio, which consists of a concert harpist and a guy who plays guitar and fiddle, not at the same time, I hasten to add. And we're all vocalists. And we suddenly get these passions for different singer-songwriters. And this last couple of weeks, we've really been into Butch Hancock, who to me is one of the finest folk songwriters. He's not got a great voice, but he writes some of the finest songs. And he's prolific, great songwriter. And he's got the wit of Dylan and he's got the wit of Shakespeare and it covers the genres of Dylan and everything. So this one's called What a World This Mess Is In. Well, if I could get it all together, I'd be one with everything. But depending on the weather, I might put it off to spring. To the long hot summer, I'm waiting for the fall. And winter soon reminds me I'd like to see and do it all. There's green leaves, then they're yellow, then they're brown, and then they're gone. There's sunlight and there's twilight, then there's starlight till the dawn. Screams of pain and pleasure and whispers in the wind. And I'd sit here in wonder at what a world this mess is in. There's throwdowns and there's toss-ups and there's scenes behind the scene. There's women and their gossips and there's men and their machines. There's ways to know about love, and if I get the chance again, I'd live in constant wonder at what a world this mess is in. When I feel a gentle breeze, I wonder how it's stirred. When I see a poor man's needs not met, my needs seem absurd. I seem to walk the line between what will be and what's been. And it's all along that line I see what a world this mess is in. Every time I listen, there's nothing to be heard. And every time I speak or sing, I'm lost in every word. I seem to go beyond wherever I have been. But it's here I sit in wonder at what a world this mess is in. Yes, it's all along that line I see what a world this mess is in.
Yay, Butch. Good man. Good man. Flatlanders. Flatlanders.
Now that I just want to say that those words aren't written down anywhere on the internet, as far as as far as I can find. So you have to do your homework to cover Butch, because he's not as well known and respected as he should be. So,
Totally
having said
agree.
that,
A really fine poet too.
really, really good. He now lives in. He was from Lubbock, lived in Austin. He now lives in Terlingua, out in the desert, towards the Mexican border, near Big Bend. David, take it away.
Right, sir. This is an old song called The Roving Gambler. I am a roving gambler, gamble all around. Whenever I meet with a deck of cards, lay my money down. Oh, lay my money down. I gambled out in England, I gambled out in Spain. I'm going back to Georgia to gamble my last game. Oh, to gamble my last game. Hadn't been in Georgia many more weeks than 3 when I fell in love with a pretty little gal. She fell in love with me. Oh, she fell in love with me. She took me to her parlor. She cooled me with a fan. She whispered low in her mama's ear, I love the gambling man. Oh, I love the gambling man. Oh, daughter, dearest daughter, how can you treat me so? To leave your dear old mother and with a gambler go. And with a gambler go. Oh, mother, dearest mother, tell you the reason why. Love I have for the gambling man, no human tongue can tell. No human tongue can tell. Mother, dearest mother, you know I love you well, but the love I have for the gambling man, no human tongue can tell. Oh, no human tongue can tell. Never marry a farmer, he's always in the dirt. I'd rather have a gambling man who wears a silken shirt. Ma, who wears a silken shirt. And I'd never marry a cowboy, he's always in the rain. I'd rather marry a gambling man with a big gold watch and chain. Oh, with a big gold watch and chain. I'd never marry a railroad man, the reason I'll tell you why. I never did meet with a railroad man that wouldn't tell his wife a lie. No, that wouldn't tell his wife a lie. You see that train a-comin', it's comin' round the curve, puffin' and a-blowin' and straining every nerve. Oh, it's straining every nerve. Mother, dearest mother, I will tell you if I can. If ever you see me coming home, it'll be with a gambling man. Ma, it'll be with a gambling man. my money down, boys. I lay my money down. Whenever I meet with a deck of cards, I lay my money down.
Very nice. Now, I have a special attachment to that song because it was probably one of the first guitar pieces I ever learned. And I happen to have, if you all will indulge me for just a little bit, I have film of myself at and my father at a family gathering in 1955. And even though there's no soundtrack, I remember that that's the song I was playing. So it doesn't take long. I'll show it you. Okay.
Oh,
I dubbed the sound later.
Gambled all around. Whenever I see a deck of cards,
That's my dad.
Money down. Gambled off in Washington. Gambled over in Spain. On my way to New Orleans to gamble my last game. Had not been in Washington many more weeks than 3 when I fell in love with a pretty little girl and she fell in love with me.
Okay.
Wow.
That is so cool. But I love that your dad had a big spliff in his mouth.
Yeah, right. Well, it wasn't that big.
It was big for me.
It was somehow that camera didn't pick up the colors real well, and the whites just kind of bled all over.
What I love about it is I picked up my first stringed instrument about 3 or 4 years ago, and there's Terry, who was finger picking at the age of 5, like in 1955. Like,
Yeah, well,
Ah.
you'd think I'd be better by now.
Well, I think that's just lack of practice. By the way, I assume in your dad's mouth was a kazoo and not a giant rope.
Yeah, right. It's split.
Okay.
yeah, you could CGI a kazoo in there if you wanted to.
Well, our first guitar, which we shared, and we learned together, which was really nice, my dad and I. And our first guitar was this terrible old Silvertone F-hole. It was hard. It was almost impossible to play. But then one day my mother sat on it.
Right.
And my dad and I both got up and cheered because we knew we could get a decent guitar. And that was the guitar we bought, this little classical thing.
Okay, Terry, you've got the award for the best intro of a song today, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. So take it away, sir. Take it away.
Now here's another fairly familiar one. With this harmonica? Yeah, this is the right harmonica for this song. Yep. It was down in old Joe's barroom at the corner by the square. There was drinks were served as usual, and the usual crowd was there. Well, up stepped old Joe McKenna. His eyes were bloodshot red. He looked at the gang all around him, and these are the words he said. I went down to St. James Infirmary, saw my baby there. She was stretched out on a long white table, so cold and white and fair. Let her go, God bless her. wherever she may be. She can search this whole wide world over, never find a sweet man like me. Wrong harmonica. This is a D minor harmonica. I do apologize.
You could have pulled it off, man. You could have pulled it off. Come
You
on.
think so?
Yeah.
I think that would be tricky. I can try it if you like.
On second thoughts,
That's the
good
one.
choice.
I know I'm taking much too long for my turn here, what with movies and stories and harmonica switching and all that stuff. It's just very gauche. But, then, it's my party and I'll, yeah. Well, let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this whole wide world over, never find a sweet man like me. Roll out your rubble-tied carriages, roll out your old-time hat. Me and my baby going to the graveyard, just one of us is coming back. When I die, Jess, you bury me in my high-top Stetson hat. Put a $20 gold beef on my watch chain to let everybody know I died standing pat. Want 6 crap shooters for my pallbearers, 8 chorus girl to sing me a song. Put a jazz band on my hearse wagon, raise hell as I ride along. Let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this whole wide world over, never find a sweet man like me. Well, now you've heard my story, taking another shot of booze. If anybody should ask you, I got them low down gambler's blues. So one good song about a gambler deserves another, I think.
Secretary, that was excellent.
Thank you.
Nice bit of context there. But as I say, I still think you're really this old black man just masquerading as an old white man. That's my theory. That's my theory. But
It's a good theory.
all right, Tom, it's all yours.
Okay, you're an Austenite. You're a billionaire. You got your tickets from the Astral Travel Agency. So you're up there tonight, high on the James Webb Space Telescope, and you're looking down while others are looking up. Above reproach, you can see the whole full landscape below, a valley of Goya and Bosch, looking for Rubens, seeking Botticelli, settling for Bruegel the Elder, clarity and images distilled. Looking down, as if from the sky above us, white chalk outlines in the earth below, white horse and a man with a cudgel, outlines of temples long past, long ago. From this mountain reproach, more than Hitler's Eyrie retreat, more than Eagle Mountaintop, more than Matterhorn, Everest, we are above ourselves at all times, with the panorama only folk angels know. To be above and beside yourself, simultaneously invisible, transparent, with wings aglow. On one shoulder, believing, on the other wing, arriving. Always in other emotional forms, as when birds fly off, are fluttering en masse. Pigeons, grackles, seagulls, sparrows, each one like us, a universe of flesh and feathers, each one hurting, healing simultaneously, until by end defined and less in the leaving, doulas, nurses, counselors, friends, family, console, comfort, caress each leaving feather. Reiki masters softly add their borrowed light to ease the passing of the winds uplifting. Hospitals, hospice like Chicago airport, flights are landing, leaving, parking, taxiing, whispering to the soft departing, you are love. Smile when heard, trusting, believing, understanding. Bridges between worlds start with care, consideration, compassion. Every feather of every bird has both name and number here. Love lifts each into the unknown. In trust, you are home. Thanks for listening.
Michael,
all of it.
I have to apologize. I left my mute off and I fiddled with the guitar. I hope I didn't.
No problem, Jerry. We
That
like
was,
you.
that was
Thank you for this
gorgeous, Tom.
accompaniment.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you very much.
I've got a situation where I might want to borrow that poem if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, man, I'll send it to you.
Thank you, man.
Very happy to.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was stellar, as always. Rory, I think you got a wee baggie there, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed.
This
Take it
is
away,
a Scottish lowland small pipe. I've had it for 30 years, made by Julian Goodacre in Peebles, Scotland. And I have a lot of fun with it. I also play the big pipe, but I won't be doing that here today. It doesn't work on Zoom. It tries to mute me. I'm going to play two songs. One is called Lonely Loch na Ewan, which is the Lake of the Little Lambs. And the other is a 2/4 march called the 79th Farewell to Gibraltar.
Mighty fine, mighty fine. Very good. Now, I'm a bit ignorant on the pipes business, although I have been to the Edinburgh Military Tattoo twice. So
That's
I've
a
seen that
lovely
old
thing to see.
piper hanging onto the battlements with his ankles. Anyway,
Well, he
and a-
is manacled. He is manacled because the winds can
and a
knock him
stiff,
off. Yeah.
a stiff breeze, and that's a lovely place to hear the bagpipes coming down
Wonderful.
that,
Yeah.
that wall. What's the difference between the small pipes you're playing and the Northumbrian pipes?
Well, briefly, Northumbrian pipes are in F. This was in D, but I have a combination pipe I can play in D. But it's Northumbrian pipe play closed fingering, so you play notes by going boom, 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 and this is played half closed fingering, so the scale goes da 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 da. Da, and you put this hand down, and that enables you to play a fast A with one finger. You see, so that's where you get all those low embellishments.
That's pretty clever.
They're
Sounds
awfully-
complicated.
Hey, Stuart, you know why they call it a stiff breeze?
No.
That's because when they used to hang people, they would hang them up, and the wind that would blow through was known as a stiff breeze.
Thank you. Thank you,
Does
Rick.
anyone here believe that?
Thank you, Rick, for your morbid creativity, as always. Now, it's very nice to hear the pipes, I must admit. We've missed those in several sessions, so that's really good.
Do you have another piper that comes here?
Well, we've been going David's been going since 1903, so he's heard them all. So no, we had a small piper. We had a player who played small pipes. I think I forget his name, David, but a few years back. But
Okay.
I think
Romeo.
Are you talking about my neighbor, Jim?
no. That was a whistler. That was a whistle piper, a whistle flutist.
No, he played the
Oh, he
pipe.
did play the Elaine pipes.
Yes.
No, David, who am I talking? Who am I thinking about?
Oh, Romeo.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, enough down memory lane here. Let's move on to Mary Jane. Here's some music. She's set like a gem in this ring of hairy men. So
Yeah, this is a great positioning. I like it. Well, I'm going to play a song called We Are, and I would not call it a traditional song, so I'm glad that I can get away with it for this particular session. It's by somebody named Y.M. Barnwell, who apparently wrote it in 1946, but it was never copyrighted until 1991. And so I think maybe he died or she died, and some relative started copywriting the music. It wound up in one of the Unitarian Church's hymnals, and that's where I learned it from. I'd got to hear some people singing it and thought it was a great song. It's not exactly a traditional song, but it's an interesting song, and I think you'll like it. So as long as I don't screw it up. So here it goes. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayer, and we are our grandfather's dreaming. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of bright visions. We are sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We're makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. For each child that's born, a burning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a burning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a burning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a burning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Was that yours?
No, that was a song I got out of the Unitarian Church hymnal, the
Sounds like
teal hymnal,
very
not
Unitarian
Joe.
theology. Yeah. And what do you call that rhythm? Is it? I mean, it's
I
not a
don't call it
6/8,
anything.
right? Oh, you
Maybe
just play it.
Rory would call it something.
But it's not a waltz time. It's not a 6/8 time either. It's a little
Well, it
syncopated
actually it is
6/8, something like
6/8.
that. Oh, it
6/8
is, okay.
time. Yeah.
But with a little syncopation, so it sounds.
Well,
It-
yeah,
it's,
there's
it's
some
definitely
syncopation.
6/8, no question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's unrelenting.
It's
I usually think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6,
it's
1, 2,
pretty
3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2,
unrelenting
3,
when you're
4, 5,
trying to
6, 1, 2,
sing
3, 4,
it.
5, 6.
It's like it wears me out.
it's country calypso 6/8, I think is what it is.
I'll probably never sing it again now that I've
No,
sung it
that's
for
fine.
you.
That was great.
Calypso 6/8. Is that what you said?
I said country calypso.
Oh, country calypso 6/8. Okay,
It's a standard ukulele rhythm.
that
I
clears
think.
everything up. Yes.
And if she sings it more than once, it's collapsing calypso.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I did sing it twice, but that's what the music says to do.
Well,
There's those
then
little
you do,
dots, that
do
tells
what
you to
the
go
music
back to the front and sing it all over again.
That sounds good though. Thank you.
Thanks.
Joe, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm going to do an old song I learned in grade school, but kind of a new take on it. 15 Miles on the Erie Canal. A minor for those playing along at home. I got a mule and her name is Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a good old pal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. We hauled some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal, and hay. We know every inch of the way to go, from Albany to Buffalo. Low bridge, everybody down. Low bridge, yeah, we're coming to a town. And you always know your neighbor and you always know your pal if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. Better look around for a job, old gal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. You can bet your life I never part with Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Get up, mule, here comes a lock. We'll make Rome about 6 o'clock. One more trip and back we'll go, right back home to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, yeah, we're coming to a town. And you always know your neighbor and you always know your pal if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. Where would I be if I lost my Sal? 15 miles on the Erie Canal. I'd like to see a mule as good as my Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Friend of mine once got her sore. Now he's got a broken jaw, 'cause she let fly with an iron toe and kicked him back to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, yeah, we're coming to a town. And you always know your neighbor and you always know your pal if you ever made a living on the Erie Canal.
Very good. Very good.
Excellent.
Get to use my A minor harp on that.
The other thing, Joe, if you're hanging around, you might want to just jack your volume up just a little bit. It sounds good, but it's quiet. So
I've never been told that before. That sounds great.
I certainly haven't. So especially when I'm sitting next to Terry. Anyway, so let's move on to Rick. It's your turn, man.
Okie dokie. Well, I'll be doing 3 things, unusual for me. Usually I do short things. But in this case, the first are my thoughts. The second is a really, really, really good poet. I'm going to read something by him. And the third is just something by me that happened in a time shortly passed by. But after that talk of mules, I had to bring this out. I want to see some of the first web scope photos of, wait for it, Earth, maximum magnification. Will it show the curving fingers of a lovely lass, or will it show in the middle of the field the gentle ass? That's the first one. The second one is by John Donne. His Holy Sonnet 4. I have no idea, unless it might have been this particular group that brought this to mind, but for some reason back in December I decided to throw it into my pile of poems here. Oh, my black soul, now thou art summoned by sickness, death's herald and champion. Thou art like a pilgrim which abroad hath done treason and durst not turn to whence he's fled, or like a thief which till death's doom be read, wisheth himself delivered from prison, but damned and haled to execution, which is that still he might be imprisoned. Yet grace, if thou repent, thou canst not lack, but who shall give thee that grace to begin? Oh, make thyself with holy mourning black, and red with blushing, as thou art with sin, or wash thee in Christ's blood, which hath this might, that being red, it dyes red souls to white. That's Mr. John Donne has to say that. And then along comes Mr. Herndon here, who says, events of the shortest day. Stars making their circles around the Polaris beacon shine through the thin skies of night that I'm seeking. Icy points of light so very white give the semblance of points, of fingers of the gods of old without pain in their joints. I stand up slowly with a smile to see, working up my courage for some event. Who knows what forests I'll start to forage? Before the sun rises this day, I'll shake off the night's blur, and I'll turn things around before they even occur. What things are these, you may ask? Before you've even finished speaking, I give you what you wanted while your face is freaking. All things must pass, my friend, for this is the day most brief. Bursting above the horizon is our sun, not a thief. Posting lookouts fore and aft, wily ones whose eyes do dart, I come to you with honest face and give to you my very heart.
Yeah. Nice trio there,
Very
Rick.
nice.
Thank you.
Well, they don't have anything to do with each other, but I just drug them out here. Just
Take three, they're small.
They do now. Yeah, you may have noticed over my shoulder, I have this lovely dog who just loves folk music for an hour, and then it's like, what the hell are you guys still doing sitting there? But for that first hour, especially low instruments and low voices, she's a groupie. Anyway, she's just gone for a walk with the wife, and it's my turn. So here's a song. I really like Gordon Bok songs, singer-songwriter from Maine. There's a couple of songs about a place called it's called Isle Ho, which is a corruption of the French, but it's Isle, A-U, H-A-U-T. It's really Isle Ho or High Island, but it's kind of homogenized or mongrelized as Isle Ho. And if you sing Isle Ho songs in Texas, people think you're singing about Idaho. So you really have to explain it. It's this lovely little small island off the coast of Maine. And this is my second Idaho song that I do. I do Idaho Lullaby. This is the hills of Idaho. It's away into the westward is a place a man should go, where the fishing's always easy and they've got no ice or snow. But I'll haul down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho. Now the Plymouth girls are fine, they put their hearts in your hand, and the Plymouth boys are able, first-class sailors every man. But I'll haul down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho. Now the trouble with Aunt Mattie, you don't try her in a trawler, for those Bay of Biscay swells, they roll your head from off your shoulder. But I'll haul down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho. Where the girls of Cascade, they are strung across the shoulder, they don't give a man advice, they don't want to cook his supper. But I'll hold down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho. Now the winters drive you crazy and the fishing's hard and slow. You're a damn fool if you stay, but there's no better place to go. But I'll haul down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho. Yes, I'll haul down the sail where the bays come together, hide away the days on the hills of Idaho.
liked it.
Thank you. They tell people about all those fishing holes in Idaho. You know, they love that song. So, okay, back to the top. David.
Okay. So one good nautical song deserves another. And this is by way of a piece of poetry by John Masefield, one of my favorites. It's called Sea Fever. And by fitting it to a traditional tune that goes to a song called Matt Highland, made Sea Fever, the poem, into Sea Fever, the song. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking and a gray mist on the sea's face and a gray dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a wetted night. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. And the jig I put at the end is called Out on the Ocean.
Very fine. Thank you, David. Thank
That concertina really fits the poem right well, doesn't it?
you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
All righty. Moving along. We're nearly halfway through, people. Courage. Courage. Okay.
Gotta find 3 more songs, I guess. I don't think I have them.
Well, just pull out some more home videos, Terry. You got it covered. So.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a song that Peggy Seeger kind of collated together from a number of fragments of old songs that the Lomaxes had collected and were transcribed by her mother, Ruth Crawford Seeger. And it's in this odd banjo tuning, which was the way Peggy played it was an F tuning, I hardly ever played the song because that tuning required retuning all 5 strings of the banjo, and it just took so long to get there and back. But then I discovered you could tune it to E flat, and it was much easier. So if you want to play along, play it in D and capo on the first, or C and capo on the third for E flat. Just need to get started. I'm going to join the army. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to be a soldier before another year. I'm going to Pensacola to tarry a while. Far from you, my darling, more than 1,000 miles. Well, hear the cannon roaring, see the bullets fly. Hear the drums a-beating to drown a soldier's cry. Oh, stay at home, dear Johnny, make me your wife. If you go to Pensacola, they're bound to take your life. They'll put you in the center, and there you will be slain. It'll break my heart asunder to never see you again. Take me with you, Johnny, I'll travel by your side. And when the war is over, I will be your bride. Oh, stay at home, dear Nancy, live a single life. If I do come back again, I'll make you my wife. They marched him through the country, they marched him into town. They marched to Pensacola, and there they shot him down. I'm weary of the fighting, I'm weary of the war. Fare you well, my Johnny, I'll never see you no more.
Yay. Pokey. Pokey.
I like the
Learned
ending.
the banjo part halfway through the song.
Thank you for that. That sounds good. Very good. It is Tom.
Okay, geometry. Geometry of relationships. You know, I always trusted in George straight lines until they met at infinity and combined. Duality never impressed me. Even as a Gemini, I could see the Janus ahead. Eternal as triangles, foundations of a pyramid, square as Roman as military forts, and M1. The only road in our northern territory, Nullarbor Plain, plop. When it came to quintuplets and sextets, I thought free-form jazz, septets, a mini orchestra, modern mathematics with irrational, strange numbers worried me like cosmology. How can this be? George Strait came out of retirement. There are no straight lines in nature anymore, or politics. I think about relationships. Now we've just passed January 6th and coming up the Texas state government incompetence snowstorm. Tyrants have no straight lies, but their tweets reveal malfeasance. It all adds up. This is a time for prosecution, karma, justice, accountability. Oh, and a change of government. Welcome in the new. In this blue sky chill today, the meeting of all worlds, these wild winds blew down my free library. So I rebuilt it book by book, in the course of which I rediscovered more poetry magazines I thought I had gifted. COVID has given us all meditations on mortality, friendship, priorities. We give attention to those we love, knowing universal personal fragilities. While we are all under this pall, it is different from hawk to sparrow. Now the homeless in Austin are visible again. It is winter and a full moon in Cancer. But there's always an upside as well as a downsizing. We're sorry to see you go, Tom. May there be room for poetry in another session on another planet in another galaxy. Evoking Robert Bly's Rumi gains Bitcoin stares from the young, like Ezra Pound's salvaging of T.S. Eliot's son, who really hated his daily bank job, with the solidarity of shadows for Vivian. William Carlos Williams, E.E. Cummings, where are they in January 2022? Amanda Gorman on Oprah Winfrey, Maya Angelou, who gives a quarter? MLK Day tomorrow reminds us of what he really shared, democratic socialism for America. Poetry is a flower in a fistfight, meditation in a slaughterhouse. Beauty is as provisional as your trust and hope, both in supply chain deficit. If you say to me, all our problems are emotional, may your next homeless human kiss you just to see you smile.
Very good, Tom. Especially with the ending.
Outstanding, sir. Outstanding.
Take a bow on your right in the sunlight.
Ah. There's Tom bringing it again. Bringing it again.
Watch out. Don't start thinking now. Go back to the past, quick.
That was very fine, sir. Very fine. All right. And with a moment's contemplation. Okay, that's enough. Okay, let's move on. Rory.
Thank you. So, this with some temerity, I'm going to sing this song because it's about Texas. And I resolved if I was going to come on this thing today, that I would sing this song. Who here has heard of the Texas musicologist called Jane Bauer? Thank you, Mary Jane.
Are you going to sing my song?
I don't know. Is it called the Mission San Miguel?
No, go.
But she also wrote Remember the Alamo. That was I think her biggest one. She wrote a lot of songs for the Kingston Trio. Dave Guard, who was the leader of the Kingston Trio at the time, kept on trying to say, we'll play them and you'll get the royalties, but I have to get a credit. And she refused to do it for this song. It's called the Mission San Miguel. It's about old Texas, only it's probably called Tejas in those days. And it's before it became a state. And it's not about anything political. It's about a very wealthy woman, the wife of a rancher, and her servant Manuel. And there's something going on, but it's never explicit. And you're always in a minor key when you're talking about the lady, and you're in a major key when Manuel's talking about what he does on the farm. Down by the mission San Miguel is a great house wherein dwell Don Carlos and La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. I work at the ranch, I saddle her mare, I ride with the gun behind as she visits her friends here and there. She says, thank you, Manuel. Oh, Manuel, por favor. Or good evening, Manuel. La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. Near to the mission San Miguel looms the great house, and therein dwell Don Carlos and La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. I live at the ranch, I wait by the stair as she rises and dresses and passes me by, gliding with glowing hair. She says, thank you, Manuel. Oh, Manuel, por favor. Or good evening, Manuel. La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. I dream of the mission San Miguel, and it says to me, the mission belle, she is married, Manuel, the wife of the rancher Don Carlos Cantrell. You serve at the ranch, you hold her chair, you carry her boxes and trunks and letters and books here and there. She says, thank you, Manuel. Or Manuel, por favor. Or good evening, Manuel. La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. But I hear with my heart what she says with her eyes. With good evening, Manuel. Oh, Manuel, por favor. Oh, the carriage, Manuel. Oh, Manuel, close the door.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, great song.
I've never heard that one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's
Kingston
great.
Trio did it. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
definitely got it
somebody's
going
heard
on
it.
in that song.
Pardon?
Definitely got it going on in that song.
Yeah, well, it's going on, but it's all sub rosa. It's
Yeah,
all,
Close
and
the
there's
door,
Rosa's not
Manuel.
around either.
No Rosa.
Yeah, that's the most explicit thing ever. Just close the door, Manuel.
Isn't that incredible? That line?
It is
Manuel,
great.
close the
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
That yet we can't do this.
Yes.
It's extraordinary.
The bed of sub rosa that I lay on, but that's
Oh,
another
very
whole story.
Oh, please.
fun.
Sorry. That's bad.
I pricked my finger on the sub rosa.
Yeah, it's an old story of close proximity. Ah, but that was very nice. Very nicely done, sir. Very nicely done. All right. It is Mary Jane.
Yes. Well, now I feel obligated to sing the only Jane Bowers song I know is Remember the Alamo. But I think I had it in my pile for this group. You know, I didn't know how many songs I'd have to sing. But I'm going to go ahead and sing this one because he just sang the other Jane Bowers song. And see, I actually met Jane Bowers once because she came to my third grade class when I was a kid. I think her niece was in the class with me, and so she got invited to come and sing. And this was the song she sang, Remember the Alamo, and it was back in the 50s when everybody was going crazy over Davy Crockett and everybody wanted to wear a coonskin cap. And I've since learned a lot of other things about the Alamo, but this song really captures the spirit of the 50s and what people thought about the Alamo back then. I think Jane Bowers actually had a relative that the scout that came out of the Alamo was her grandfather. That was my understanding. At any rate, this is Remember the Alamo. And I think, does it have? Yes, it has a kazoo part. Make sure everything's set up here. Were challenged by Travis to die by the line that he drew with his sword when the battle was nigh. The man who will fight to the death cross over, but he who would live better fly. And over the line to win 179. If Caledonia were killing your soldiers below, and men wherever they go will remember the Alamo. The Bowie lay dying, his powder was ready and dry. From flat on his back, Bowie killed him a few in reply. And brave Davy Crockett was singing and laughing with gallantry fierce in his eye. For God and for freedom, a man more than willing to die. Oh, you Indiana for killing your soldiers below, and men wherever they go will remember the Alamo. They said a young scout from the battle looks bloody and loud. Words of farewell from a garrison valiant and proud. Don't grieve, little darling, my dying. If Texas is sovereign and free, we'll never surrender and ever with liberty be. Oh, you
Yay.
That's fantastic. And I tried to find out as much as I could about Jane Byers, and I know very little. There's very little online. And Mary Jane,
Yeah, I don't know much either.
well, you met her. Holy cow!
Yeah,
That's
when I
extraordinary.
was 8 years old.
Well,
Maybe
okay,
9.
all right, but I'd
Yeah,
like
and
to
her
know more about her.
her niece has disappeared. Her name was Ann Tobin, and she was in my graduating class, but they can't find her. You know, it's like she never gets the word or the reunions or anything because she disappeared.
Oh well,
Texas
I guess
is a
it'll
big
remain a
state.
mystery. But I just wanted to know more about her for her songwriting, and but that's the song that I sang really touched me. I first heard it when I was 14, and I said, "Is what I think going on going on?" Because it's kind of understated, right? And grow up to find out, yeah, it's going on, but it's sad too, right?
That's cool. Well, we get obscure songwriters and we promote them on this show here. So
I disappeared for a while from my class.
Yeah.
I changed my name and they couldn't find the other me, so they thought I died or something.
Well, here's the deal, Rory. Texas is a big state and people do disappear here. So
Yeah.
if you come here, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Joe, take it away.
All right. Well, this is by a songwriter that's not obscure. This is Merle Travis. Dark as a Dungeon.
Okay. It was awful.
It was awful?
Come listen, young fellas, so young and so fine. Oh, seek not your fortune in the dark, dreary mine. It'll form as a habit and seep in your soul, till the stream of your blood runs as black as the coal. It's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mine. It's many a man that I've known in my day, who lived just to labor his whole life away, like a fiend with his dope and a drunkard his wine. A man will have lust for the lure of the mine. It's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mine. The midnight, the morning, or the middle of the day, it's the same to the miner who labors away, where the demons of death often come by surprise. One fall of the slate and you're buried alive. It's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines. I hope when I'm gone and the ages shall roll, that my body will blacken and turn into coal. Then I'll look from the door of my heavenly home and pity the miner a-digging my bones. It's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines.
That's a great old song.
Hey, John.
Joe, is it my imagination, or have you become a bass since we last played in together, or have you always been down there?
He's always been down there.
been down there.
He can go down there.
When you go down in the mine, you gotta go
But
low.
when you're leading songs, you kind of need to go in a higher register so it carries over the crowd. But when you're mic'd, you can go all the way down and people still hear you.
That's what whistle players do too.
I see Joan Broadfield there, Stuart.
You do. She's so pathetic. What's the last hour or so I come, right? Last 15 minutes I come. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Well,
It's okay. We're such a small group, we're going around and around.
Now, wait a minute.
fast.
There's an hour and 15 minutes to go. So
There's an hour-
Oh,
Oh, it was
excellent.
an hour and 15 minutes ago. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool. That's great. Well, I have a meeting. in
Joan,
20
are you
minutes.
going to sing, or are you just going to hang out?
I'm
and
gonna
listen?
hang out. I'll be inspired and see what happens.
I'm
Okay.
hanging out, but I've got to cook in the kitchen. So Joan's an old friend of mine. So I just want,
Cool.
I hang out with you guys most times, and you just don't see me. So, but I
Yeah,
love the music. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We have we have real people and we have ghosts as well. So it's a quite a good big crowd when you think about it. Talking of ghosts, Rick, you're up next.
well, I thank you for making me up. Some people make me down. Some people make me out. But somebody was talking about irrational numbers a while ago, and I just don't understand. I'm an engineer, so I really do understand, but I don't understand how you can have irrational numbers. How do they exist in the most rational corner of science? Numbers. They aren't irrational. They're there. They define everything we have. Does anyone know how Tejas went from a J to an X? As no one pronounces it as it would be in English and its native tongue. I guess nobody here does.
X is pronounced as the same way in Spanish as J is pronounced in Spanish. So it would be Texas, whether it's a J or an X. That's why the county that San Antonio is in is Bejar County.
Yeah.
That's
Thus
our-
fair.
Actually, it's Bejar, but okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was all those guys from Kentucky that just couldn't get their mouths around the Spanish. Is what it was.
Okay. Well, anyway.
And they were so used to labeling whiskey barrels that they would.
Sure. I thought maybe they were labeling their
But
porn.
actually, seriously, I think historically the Mexican, the Spanish J and X were interchangeable until the spelling got standardized and some words, got one and some words got the other.
Well, I'm glad I could float in here and create a fight. But I wanted to read a poem that I wrote a while back. All these dark poems I'm writing seem to fit well in the wintertime. I'm not sure they'll fly very well in the summer. But this is called Light Turns to Dark. And I woke up one morning with my little sound device. I call her Alexandria when I'm talking to people in her presence so that she doesn't wake up and say, what? And she was playing this piece of music by somebody called Dr. Dog. Don't know Dr. Dog from anything, but I woke up with this line approaching and beating on my ear saying, with the sun in my eyes, I step into the night like a mystery in the dark. Oh, it's just another kind of light. And I thought, whoa, I've got to find that. So I immediately looked on the playlist and found out where it was. Looked it up on the internet and grabbed that little chunk because I couldn't let it just slide off into the covers. I mean, it had to make something. And so I brought it into my head, and this is what fell out. One day, my light turns to dark when nothing will do but go to the park and sit in the stands. Every day will sift through the threads that tie me to the world so tight, which keeps me from jumping on beds and closing my eyes to the sight. All of my images I keep inside my head throw shadows that make up my dreams. Will stop the moment I'm dead and put my poems right now on reams. One day my light turns to dark when nothing will do but go to the park and sit in the stands. So that's what that did inside my head. Thank you.
If you have another one, that was a short one. You
Go
can
ahead.
do another one.
Oh, I don't have one queued up here. My son called me a while ago, and I'm going to make some banana bread when he comes
Okay.
over tonight. So
Understand.
I guess I'll have to turn it over to you, bad as I hate to, Stuart.
Well, thank you, man. All right, it is I. And for those who know me and those who don't, it's a brief introduction. I'm an Englishman in voluntary exile in Texas since 1993. Married an American lady. Been living outside the UK for really since the early 70s when I had wanderlust at the age of 19 and lived all around the world. And I'm going to sing a Scottish song because two reasons. One, Robert Burns' birthday is coming up shortly. And he's just the finest lyricist and love songwriter in the history of Scotland for sure. And he died a young man. He kind of came in with the American Revolution and went out just after the French Revolution. So he lived in a good, lively time. And I asked I'm from north of London, and I did ask my mother once, why am I Stuart and my brother's name is Ian and my sister's name is Brenda? They're all very Scottish names. And it turns out I am 1/8 Scottish, because even though most of my family were miners and agricultural labourers from the middle of England, we had a Scotsman who was a railway engineer, came into the family in the 1880s when he was helping to build the main lines. He was a Ross. So I have a little Scots in me. So my apologies to Rory if I butcher some of the low Scots language here, whatever it is. But this is a Green Grow the Rashes, and it's an old chestnut, but there are a couple of verses that don't often show up in your Rise Up singing book and other things. So here it goes, and it's basically all talks about old nature. It doesn't even talk about God. Old nature, when it made men, it was just practicing. It was just the apprentice. But when it made women, aha, perfection. So he had a way with the ladies, he did. So did nature, evidently. Naught but care on every hand, and every hour that passes, oh, that signifies the life of man. If it were not for the lasses, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses, oh. The worldly race may riches chase, and riches still may fly them, oh, and though at last they catch them fast, their hearts can ne'er enjoy them all. Green grow the rushes, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses, oh. Give me a canny hour at e'en, my arms about my dearie, oh, and worldly cares and worldly men may gay capsule cheery, oh. Green grow the rushes, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses, oh. For you say, Deuce, ye sneer at this, you're naught but senseless asses, oh, the wisest man the world e'er saw, he dearly loved the lasses, oh. Green grow the rushes, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses. Oh, nature swears the lovely dears, her noblest work she classes. Oh, her printer's hand she tried on man, then she made the lasses. Oh, green grow the rushes. Oh, green grow the rushes. Oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses. Oh, green grow the rushes. Oh, green grow the rushes. Oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spend are spent among the lasses.
Bravo. Nice job, Stuart.
Thank you. That's how
Although I
nice.
thought rashes were bacon. You know, how many rashes and how many bangers?
Yeah. You need to get out more. You need to get out more, Terry.
I think that's rashers.
Oh, I see.
That's what happens to you if somebody gets too close to one of those graters. You get rashes on you.
Well, when they go green, it's not very appetizing.
Rashes was a rubber burn skin condition. But anyway, that's another whole story. All right. Well, that's from my great-great-great-grandfather, whoever he was.
Very good, though.
Ross. All right. Back to, Joan, if you wish to say, do, sing, or whatever, or just smile and we will move on. So
You can even thumb your nose.
okay, we will move to David then. We're in the last hour, in the downhill stretch now.
So that was in praise of women, and this is by a woman, one of my all-time favorite poets, Emily Dickinson. So many of her poems make wonderful songs if you can find a good tune for them, and this one exhibits what she was known for in her lifetime, which was a lot of integrity with her nonconformity of religion. And it's called Will There Really Be a Morning? And I picked an old hymn tune for it, ironically. So here it goes. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they? Has it feet like water lilies? Has it feathers like a bird? Is it brought from famous countries of which I have never heard? Some sailor, oh, some wise men from the skies, please to tell a little pilgrim where the place called morning lies. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they?
Very good.
I always enjoy that one. That's a good combo. Do you know what that? I muted you, unfortunately, David, by reflex. Do you know what that tune is called, man?
Well, as the first time I heard it, it was called "For the Bread Which You Have Broken," and it's in the Episcopal hymnal. And the tune is called "Omni Dei," as many of the hymn tunes were used for multiple texts, and they had titles independent of those words.
Okay, very good. Thank you. My dog's doing the high lonesome here, so I will move on to Terry. Here we go.
Well, every couple of weeks on the folk soul sessions, we have theme nights, and the theme the last time around was letters. So everybody sang a song about a letter, and this was my offering. It's by that great man of letters, Fats Waller. So here it is, sorry. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words so sweet, it's gonna knock me right off my feet, but kisses at the bottom, I'll be glad I got 'em. Gonna smile and say, well, I hope you're feeling better, and close with love the way you do. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. Doing too well today. The harmonica is not in tune with the guitar. You'll just have to blur your hearing a little. Sorry. Oh, gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. Gonna write words so sweet, they're gonna knock me right off my feet. Put kisses at the bottom, I'll be glad I got 'em. Gonna smile and say, oh, I hope you're feeling better, and close with love the way you do. I'm gonna sit right down, write myself a letter, and make me
from you.
She quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was a train wreck.
You are indeed sorry, sir.
Huh?
Wow, you kept the beat. That's something.
How do you get to be that sorry?
Yeah.
Takes a lot of practice.
I like
Yeah.
That's a fairly complex piece of music, as to
Well,
me.
I had it all right last week, but somehow it deteriorated, you know.
You slept since then.
Fats Waller got a great story about him. I read a biography, and this is the best story ever. He was going into the recording studio, and the receptionist was incredibly good looking. And he was sort of hanging around but didn't know what to say. So they went in and recorded and came back the next day and said to her, "You have to tell me your name, because last night when I was dreaming, I could only call you baby."
Well, ain't it a killer?
Of course, he wrote that great song, "Ain't Misbehave," and "Saving All My Love for You,"
Yeah,
and
he
you,
wrote-
and
he
you,
wrote
and you.
really great songs.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good insight. All right, Tom.
I begged my South Austin neighbor for a cup of time, but she said there was a supply chain problem. Same with cream cheese, chicken tenders, champagne. Now I don't have time to complain about COVID. So I stood in line for a free COVID test on South Lamar. It was the only test I really wanted to fail. Shortage of staff meant I still do not know why COVID discriminates against both young and old. Shortage of public clocks in Austin town, everyone with smartphones and dogs always looking down. Perhaps if we were all given a gift of time, we could be looking up this time around. In our 2-day Texas winter, winterizing polar bears and penguins dress up. Ice caps are melting, farewell polar bears, and Coca-Cola can no longer use them for advertising. Meanwhile, we replace all wild deer with wire deer, their antlers supporting illuminations. When will we love the wild enough to invite them back into our seasonal celebrations? It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 state, 5, January 16th, everything happening at once. Staff shortages, supply shortages, clash of COVID safety guidelines. Rump cancels his press conference. We gather for poetry and music to share together what to do in these uncertain times. Before gathering becomes completely historic, we cling to each other's bright company, maybe masked, maybe not, definitely alive and well, trusting that no repeat of insurrectionism will ever occur again. Poetry over politics. We need expiation for a million tiny violences. So she is both pacifist and vegan. Will devour no dragon meat, nor horse, pig, cow, nor fish, even when her fellow spirits are piscatorians. She feels the abattoir and the slaughterhouse, the cry of slit-throat lambs on the altar of meat, lost orphan crying creatures dragged screaming from oceans, netted, gutted, sliced, served en masse when each has divinity. She combines William Blake, Gary Schneider, Native American culture into a Quaker beatific calmness with no violence, no honey for what it does to bees. She will not feed no butchers, and in her life of prayers and purity, she eschews oil, gas, fracking, plastic, Texas dynasties, turns away from Baal, Moloch, greed, from fat Buddha to thin, sees Eden as a garden, sings, love is all you need, watches Beatles replays on Disney Plus as she dreams. Thank you all.
You must be getting really skinny after eschewing all of that.
Yeah. Then there's a guitar string, young fella. Then there's a guitar string.
Yeah, well, one should mention, often when Tom's performing, there's a guitar riff behind him to
Yeah,
add to because he is the official Texas Beat Poet Laureate
Yeah,
until
believe it.
until 2022.
That's right.
I've seen the placard. He's got the gongs and everything.
Thank you, Stuart, my agent. Wonderful work.
I don't know. If anything Tom ever had, I wouldn't accuse him of having big gongs.
Oh,
moving right along.
that's really
Something. We have
Ring gong for Rick.
we have the beatific and the profane in this show here. So let's go back to the high end with Rory, please.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Rory.
Sure.
Could I ask something? Could I ask to slide in here real quick, because I got to leave about now. I should have already left 2 minutes ago, but I'll slide in here real quick and get out of your way.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, Rory.
No worries. There's poetry in Sorry, Rory.
Yeah, that's true. There's two of them here. One of them's by me and one of them isn't. The first one is by me. It's called The Stars. Strewing stars from unclasped hands leads my eyes to whirls of galaxies. When will I ever be through creating, I ask? No one cares on city streets full of taxis. How can I begin to grasp the reason I do this? When will my life get back to something like normal? There's no answer on the street besides swirls of dust, and though I want something to come, it's informal. Will they have tiny points like those on my childhood Christmas tree? Can it be said there will be 5 or 6 or 500 of them? Only I can answer what will happen inside this head of mine, blasting out solar systems like digital cities from Sim. Concussion is what they said I had when I at last came to. I was struck by the trailer of a failing 18-wheeler, sliding off the main thoroughfare of my fair city like cards from a penny ante poker table dealer. No radio astronomers noticed when the stars began to shine through what were once only clouds of far-flung gas. There are so many stars in the universe's fields that I could literally say to myself, this too shall pass. That's my poem. And then the one I'm going to read here is by John Rodell. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago is the name of the poem. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other. Now my head and heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week, and my heart gets me on weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week. And their notes they send to one another always say the same thing. This is all your fault. On Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. And on Wednesday, my head lists all of the times my heart has screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling, crying. So lately I've been spending a lot of time with my gut. It serves as my unofficial therapist. Most nights I sneak out of the window in my rib cage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either one of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow, I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future, I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There is no yesterday in your lungs. There is no tomorrow there either. There's only now. There's only inhale. There's only exhale. There's only this moment. There's only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and head work their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves, and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag and walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened the door, and with a smile and as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?" I thought that was excellent. It's just kind of exactly how my head works.
That's wonderful, wonderful.
Very, very good, sir. Very good.
See you guys later, and thanks, Rory, for letting me slide in there.
Oh, my pleasure.
A good final act there. Rick, good final act. Well done, sir. Rory, take it away.
Before we go, I just want Rick. Can you say who the author of that last poem was?
Yeah, the fellow's name is John Rodell, Roedel.
Okay.
I don't remember where I ran across that, but as soon as I ran
know.
across it, I said, "That's mine."
I remember you reciting it before, and I thought it was marvelous. John Rodell. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that.
Later.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay, Rory, all yours, man.
Right, so I'm going to do a song. We have a couple of very good songwriters up in Canada, more than a couple. Two you might have heard of is Gordon Lightfoot and Leonard Cohen, who really belongs to the world. And I'm going to do a Leonard Cohen song. It's called Famous Blue Raincoat, and it's how classy people do infidelity. One of my favorite songs. You know, when I play country songs, I love classic country, but I always emend them. I always sort of change a line or something. I wouldn't change so much as a punctuation mark or a preposition in this song. It's perfect. It's 4 in the morning, the end of December. I'm writing you now just to see if you're better. New York is cold, but I like where I'm living. There's music on Clinton Street all through the evening. And I hear that you're building your little house deep in the desert. You're living for nothing now. I hope you're keeping some kind of record. Yes, Jane came by with a lock of your hair. She said that you gave it to her that night that you planned to go clear. Did you ever go clear? Well, the last time we saw you, you looked so much older. Your famous blue raincoat was torn at the shoulder. You'd been to the station to meet every train. You came home without Lily Marlene. And you treated my woman to a flake of your life. And when she came back, she was nobody's wife. Well, I see you there with the rose in your teeth. One more thin gypsy thief. Well, I see Jane's awake. She sends her regards. What can I tell you, my brother, my killer? What could I possibly say? I guess that I miss you, I guess I forgive you. I'm glad you stood in my way. If you ever come by here for Jane or for me, you're her enemy sleeping, and his woman is free. Yes, and thanks for the trouble you took from her eyes. I thought it was there for good, so I never tried. Yes, and Jane came by with a lock of your hair. She said that you gave it to her that night that you planned to go clear. Sincerely, your friend.
Yay, young Leonard. What a poet. What a poet.
That is
Amazing.
one of my favorite songs. I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
It is a great song, but you know, he started off as a poet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Icebox of Earth.
and
Beautiful.
he was playing guitar, but I didn't think it was very good, but he actually got not bad, and then he started orchestrating some of his songs, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to confess, when I was a younger man, living in Hong Kong, I was at a party with an Australian woman was there, and they had Leonard Cohen in the background, and I would just go on about how terrible Leonard Cohen was, how he played 3 chords and had a terrible voice, and it took me to become an older man to realize a great poet doesn't let music get in the way of the words. And he was his music was all about framing the lyrics,
Correct.
not about So I humbly had to realize he's just a great poet with a bit of a background band going for himself.
Oh, some of his orchestrations are amazing, like the one, the Tower of Song, where he has his backup ladies going, do dum 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 da do dum dum. It's so cool.
Yeah, he got better with age.
We gave out
I got
poetry
better with age.
in Melbourne at the theatre. We gave out poetry, and he took the sheet of poetry and came out on stage and said, "Someone has been handing out poetry at my concert. I wish to applaud this brave and useless exercise." Isn't that beautiful? What a human response. That was wonderful.
Yeah, he knew who he was. Oh, he's very grounded.
Yeah.
Very grounded guy. All right, thank you for that. That was great. Mary Jane.
Okay. I'm going to do an old religious song by Alice Hawthorne called Whispering Hope, and it's best known for its echoing parts in the chorus, which I can't do them because I'm only one person, but I am going to do them alternately with the kazoo and the vocals, so you'll wind up hearing both of the parts in the chorus. Soft is the voice of an angel, breathing a lesson unheard. Hope with a gentle persuasion whispers her comforting word. Wait till the darkness is over. Wait till the tempest is done. Hope for the sunshine tomorrow after the shower is gone. Whispering hope, whispering hope. Welcome thy voice, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. twilight, dim be the region afar. Will not the deepening darkness brighten the glimmering star? Then, when the night is upon us, why should the heart sink away? When the dark midnight is over, watch for the breaking of day. Whispering hope, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. Hope is an anchor so steadfast, rends the dark veil for the soul. Whither the master has entered, robbing the grave of its gold. Come, then, oh come, glad fruition, come to my sad, weary heart. Come, oh thou blessed hope of glory, never, oh never depart. Whispering hope, welcome thy voice, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. Have a lot
Again.
of fire people turning over their graves after listening to that.
Very good. Thank you for that. That classic. Thank you. Joe.
All
It's
right, I'm
yours.
going to do a Scottish song, Mickey's Warning, also known as Blue Blazin' Blind Drunk. A minor for those playing along at home. My friends, I have a sad story, a very sad story to tell. I married a man for his money, and he's worse than the devil himself. So I'll go and I'll get blue blazing blind drunk, just to give Mickey a warning. And then just for spite, I'll stay out all night and come rolling home drunk in the morning. When Mickey comes home in the evening, he batters me all black and blue. If I say one word, I get splattered from the kitchen back to the bedroom. So I'll go and I'll get blue blazing blind drunk, just to give Mickey a warning. And then just for spite, I'll stay out all night and come rolling home drunk in the morning. Well, of whiskey I ne'er been a lover. What can a poor woman do? I'll go and I'll drown all my sorrows, and I wish I could drown Mickey too. So I'll go and I'll get blue blazing blind drunk, just to give Mickey a warning. And then just for spite, I'll stay out all night and come rolling home drunk in the morning. All my friends and all my relations, they tell me that I should leave home. But as frightened as I am of Mickey, I'm more frightened of being alone. So go and I'll get blue blazing blind drunk, just to give Mickey a warning. And then just for spite, I'll stay out all night and come rolling home drunk in the morning.
Good job. It's a hard song. It's a very hard song, and it expresses women's problems with men a lot very well.
That was very well done, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. An old story and a sad one.
So I'm fiddling with my electronics here. I've got too many wires. So if I disappear halfway through the song, it's because I plugged the wrong lead in. But it might be a good way to go out. So, but I think I'm okay now. My dog, who loves folk music, got very antsy, and my wife's had to take her out twice now. So they say my dog loves 1 hour folk sessions. She loves us all. And then she thinks we're just a bit crazy.
Oh my goodness, there he went. He wasn't kidding. What he did.
He did go.
Yeah. Does somebody want to give us a little tune to play and see if Stuart
Invisible
turns
Man.
up again?
Do what?
Would someone care to give us a little entertainment while we're waiting for Stuart to show up again?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. You ready?
Okay, great.
Okay. This one is for home. Home is where we all return to, and we all have many homes, all of which are time-bound. Womb Memories by Ray Bradbury, Crimes via Francois Villon, Escape by Papillon, Bird in Jazz, Prison, Exile, Punishment with Pablo Neruda, and Ovid, Loving Those Russians, Anna Akhmatova, In Solitary Confinement with Vladimir Mayakovsky, or Exile Chinese Li Bai Du Fu, Off-Road with Jack Kerouac, Awaiting the Rebirth of Wonder with Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Loving the Nature of Gary Schneider, Mary Oliver, Immediacy of Rumi and Kabir, Electric Sex of Henry Miller, Colette, so many homes we have. Rest we with D.H. Lawrence and Georgia O'Keeffe in solitude and in crowds. Each day opens another song, another page. We reread, re-sing to know significance again. Slice silences into moments for continuance. Epics, haiku, Sappho, Leonard Cohen. They are living when we love them. Hence records, libraries, song circles like this one. Mirror of 1 million faces, Campbell, Jung. We stand with them and we are home again. Okay, come back now. All is forgiven.
Where is he? I don't know.
He's disappeared. How can he do that to us?
It was a fine interlude.
He's trying his new wireless setup.
Oh, yeah, it's not trained yet. Maybe the dog ate it.
Well, why don't we just keep going around the circle? We know we've got our circle.
Sure.
I've got one I can do. Let me see. See if I get any luckier on this one. And some days I just don't do well, but let's see how this goes. The old ways are changing, you cannot deny. The day of the traveler is over. There's nowhere to gang and there's nowhere to bide. So farewell to the life of the rover. Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the traveling man. To the 30-foot trailer. to the cant and the traveling tongue. Farewell to the Romany talking, the buying, the selling, the old fortune telling. Knock on the door and the hawking. Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the traveling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer. You got to move fast to keep up with the times, for these days a man cannot under. There's a bylaw to say you may be on your way, and another to say you can't wander. So goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, the tinker, the tailor, the traveling man. Goodbye to the 30-foot trailer. Farewell to the basins of heather and broom. Farewell to the creel and the basket. For the folks of today, you would far sooner pay for a thing that's been made out of plastic. Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, the tinker, the gypsy, the traveling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer. The old ways are passing and soon they'll be gone, for progress is a big factor. It's sent to afflict us, and when they evict us, they'll tow us away with the tractor. Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the traveling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Good job. Might I suggest that we do what Mary Jane suggested? We revert to the order, in which case it would make David next.
Okay.
And then you guys will, I'll be after David, and then
That'll be fine. No.
Oh, Stuart's back.
I'm back.
Oh, there's Stuart.
And your front.
Welcome
and your
back.
front.
Shall I take the next one?
Yeah. Go on.
Sure.
I have no idea what happened, but my computer said it's running low, and then boom. I have weak connections.
You got to put gas in it.
Yeah. There's a WikiLeaks somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I need more shillings for the meter. There we go. Anyway.
50p.
Inflation. Terrible.
I
All
don't
right.
know who
so,
you're shilling for, but you know.
you guys are awful. All right. So please mute yourselves while I rudely step back in, as I've been oblivious to whatever's happened in that nasty silence. Okay. Here's one that was popularized by Andy Irvine of Planxty about a man who emigrated from Scotland in the early 1900s to America, to Indiana. And then he went back, having raised a family. He just went back to his, he left poverty and he went back to poverty because he liked his homeland more than he liked his new land. Not that there's anything wrong with the new land. So this is a nice immigrant feel song to it, I think. Here it goes. It's called Indiana. Oh, story behind this. I first heard this every few years before COVID. Every couple of years I go hiking or hill walking with people of my age, some guys of my age from my past. We go all over England and Scotland and Wales to do this. And we were in Pembrokeshire in southwest Wales. We're at a pub in Fishguard. And in this pub they have they host a folk song, and this pub was where the last invasion of the British Isles had their surrender written by a French captain in, well, it's a long story, in 1797 or something like that. But that's a side bit. The story's about a guy who leaves home, stays in America for a couple of generations, then goes back to the northwest of Scotland to a poor village. Fare thee well now, Indiana, your green land has been good to me. There I traveled, there I settled, there I raised up my family. But the cord has never severed, and the longing each day it has grown. So tomorrow I'll be leaving for the land that I call my home. All my friends say that I'm crazy going back to such poverty. America is, so they say now, the land of opportunity. But the shy hare runs so swiftly, and the heron slowly flies. These are treasures for my homeland that all your money can never buy. As a ship lies in the harbor, I shall look back on your shore, and I feel sadness that I'm leaving your green land forevermore. But as the ship lies on the ocean, and each day we are out on the sea, oh, the dreams I've had for years now, drawing nearer reality. Fare thee well now, Indiana, your green land has been good to me. There I traveled, there I settled, there I raised up my family. But the cord has never severed, and the longing each day it has grown. So tomorrow I'll be leaving for the land that I call my home.
Well done, Stuart.
Both coming back.
The Rockers. Yeah,
Ah, yes, it was worth waiting for.
yeah. Do you
Thank
want to
you.
know what happened while you're away?
Sure.
Okay. I did a poem, and I think Terry did one song, and then we're going to go into the order that was around from the beginning. But then you came back, and here you are.
I forget what it was. So I just bigfooted in from the abyss.
No problem.
So is
Stared
it
at the abyss, and the abyss gave you back.
is Rory next?
No, it's David and then me.
Oh yes. Okay. There we go. I think we probably got time for David, Rory, and then David will take us out. We do a traditional ending with the parting glass, but
Oh, I love that song. That's great.
okay. So David, and then Rory, and then David. So David.
Okay, so this is inspired by Mary Jane's song, and it's Emily Dickinson's take on the subject. Hope is the thing with feathers. And the tune I've chosen is Willie O. Winsberry. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.
Thank you again.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So
Yeah.
we have poetry here. We have music here. We have small pipes here. We got it all. So Rory, give us the last song.
I'm going
Give us
to
the last
play
tune.
it. It's a tune that I composed myself for the sister of the chief of our clan. And she was dying of multiple myeloma. Her husband called me and said, "Would you compose a Christmas present for her?" I said, I usually don't do it by commission, but this came out well. It's called Lady Bridget Oppenheim. That's her name. One drone wants to go and it's not supposed to. Plug came out.
that was stirring.
I can hear that from that lone piper on the battlements at Edinburgh. If you figure out a way to get into play, because that's a gorgeous lament you have there, sir. Gorgeous.
Very nice.
Well,
By the
thank you,
way,
everybody.
I found a link to that poem that Rick read, the mind and the heart and brain thing.
Cool.
That's on the chat.
Well, thanks everybody for coming, and thanks Rory for joining the group here. Great addition, and you feel welcome anytime. We take anybody, really. It's true, absolutely. And
You took me. You must be taking anybody.
and good to see Joe again, and Tom as always, and Mary Jane and Terry and all the others. And David, take us out with a parting glass and a reel, as a jig or a reel or a ballad or whatever it is you do.
Yeah, I finish up with happy to meet and sorry to part. Oh, all the money that e'er I spent it in good company. And all the harm that I ever did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while. There is a fair maid in this town, who sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheek and ruby lips, I own she has my heart in thrall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts I ever knew, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls none to my lot, that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. I'll softly rise and I'll gently call. Good night and joy be with you all. Hi, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you all. Next week is the Saturday session at the
Woohoo!
same time.
Party.
And Terry, you have the power button since my expulsion.
Oh, I do. Okay. Okay. Goodbye, folks.
Thank you, Terry.
Bye.
Thank you.